Heil! Purim is the strangest of all holidays. Purim is a holiday when you're supposed to get so inebriated, so outside of your thinking, Talmudic mind, post-Neolithic self, that you don't know the difference between the good guys and the bad guys, and it's all just flow. It's all just flow. So, today being the day of Purim, the time is short. The time is short. I don't have a lot of time right now, so I'm going to have to make this brief. The story of Purim takes place in the Bible, in the book of Esther. And in the book of Esther, it tells the story of why we celebrate this Purim. Unfortunately, as I said, the time is brief, and there are parties to go to, there are drinks to be enjoyed, there are money to be given to the poor, there are gifts to be given to friends, there's a lot of phone calls to make, there's so much that I still have to do. Unfortunately, yesterday, due to a comedy of errors, and I don't really understand God's sense of humor, which I guess makes sense. To me, it seems lame, but I'm sure I'm missing the point. But for whatever reason, God sent me on 4 separate Uber trips last night. 4 separate Uber trips, all of which led to nowhere. They were all mistakes. And this had nothing to do with my inebriation. This was purely God just effing with me for the laugh of it. I enjoy it too. I'm happy to laugh along with the Lord. And one thing that I found quite interesting, however, is that I came home last night, with $200 in my pocket. $200 extra in my pocket, making up for all the Uber rides. I had not requested any money from anybody, and somehow it ended up there. So I guess God and I both get to have the last laugh. But I didn't get to read the story of Esther, the story of Purim. I'm not going to get to read it all now, but I'll get started. Normally I would prefer to do it in Hebrew and then in an English translation, and then perhaps with some explanations. But today I can only do a few verses right now because, like I said, the time is short. But if you want to look it up, it's in the Bible, the book of Esther. I should let you know that there are 2 versions of the book of Esther. One is in the Hebrew Bible, the other is in the Septuagint. The Septuagint is also a Jewish Bible, and it is the basis for most of the Catholic Bible, although other various Christian denominations don't use it. If you want to read the most original Jewish version, it's got, I believe, 10 chapters. I think 10, maybe 11, but I think 10. Anyway, so here, just starting right off, and I'm going to have to do it just in Hebrew, okay? But maybe you'll get some of the point of it. It's a comic story. It's a ridiculous story. It's hilarious. It has too many different meanings to go for right now. Vayihi b'mei Achashverosh. Hu Achashverosh, hamoilech mehoidu v'yad kush. Sheva ve'esrim u'meya medina. And it was in the days of Shayarsha, probably Xerxes, if the story is intended to be a literal story. This is the Xerxes who ruled over 7 countries. No, not 7. 20 plus 7. No, not 20 plus 7. 100 plus 20 plus 7. That's how the first verse goes. Sheva v'esrim u'meya medina. It was in those days. Kesheves hamelach Achashverosh al kisei malchusoi. When the king Achashverosh was sitting on his royal throne. Do I remember it further? Kesheves hamelach Achashverosh al kisei malchusoi. Asher b'Shushan habira. That is in Shushan, the capital, the fortress capital. Asher b'Shushan habira. B'shnas sholish l'molchoi, the 3rd year of his rule. Also mishte l'chol sarav v'avadav. He made a huge party for all of his servants, his ministers. Chol sarav avadav. Chel paras u'modai. All of the army of Persia and Media, which were the countries that he had consolidated there into his Persian empire. Hapartamim, the noblemen, the aristocracy. V'sorei hamedinois l'fanav. And the heads of countries in front of him. These were essentially probably royal hostages. That's how you work. Instead of having to run some other country by sending your own guy out there, you have the locals run the country, and you keep their wife and kids with you as royal guests, in your own palace. We see this going back possibly even to King David and Saul's grandson. Although it's not 100% obvious that's what's going on there, you can interpret it more kindly towards David. But this is a very, very common custom. The royal hostage. The Sorry Hamadina is the fun of. Wie Hartman, Vayib me Achashverosh, Hu Achashverosh, Hamelech mehoyu v'ad Kush, Sheva v'yesrim u'meya Medina. Bayom Mohim, Kesheves Hamelech Achashverosh, Al Kisei Malchuso, Yasher B'Shushan Abira. B'Shna Sholish L'Malchoi, also Mishta L'Chol Sarav Yavod, Chel, Paras, U'modai, Apartamim, V'Sori HaMedina is L'Fonov, Baharoisoi is Oisher Kvoid Malchusoi. In order to show them his great honor of his kingship, what a mighty grand king he was. Ve'es Yikor Teferes Gidulosoi. And the preciousness of his glory and greatness. Ve'es Yikor Teferes Gidulosoi. Yamim Rabim, so many days. Shmainu Ma'as Yoim, more than 180 days. More than half a year, he had them all partying there. He had no other worries. He had conquered the world. He was the greatest ruler at that time. Up until a little bit later, Alexander the Great took over from his predecessor. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oizeh Yisrael begvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oiter Yisrael b'sefara. We also have gvura. We also have tefara. And unfortunately, at this time, because as I said, the time is short, technically speaking, tomorrow is also a sort of Purim, but the real Purim ends in only a couple of hours, and I have so much to do. So I hope that you enjoyed these first few verses. If you found them interesting, please read the rest of the book. It's a wild book. I've got a lot to say about it. If you're curious, write a comment. And Misha Nichnas Ador Marbim Besimcha. When the month of Adar enters, and today is the 14th of Adar, when Adar enters, we increase happiness for ourselves, for our friends, for our family, for our tribe, for the world, for all of creation. So I wish you increased happiness. I wish you ever increased happiness. The book of Esther, to be clear, is also a little bit about vengeance, a little bit about that sometimes if people are fucking with you really badly, you gotta fuck them back. But you should do it in the right way. Like, you shouldn't, take their stuff. Don't confuse it by actually taking their stuff after you get rid of them. All right, that's part of the message, so I had to say it. Anyway, God bless you all, and universe bless you all. Bye-bye.